7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM, JOX Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. We're getting ready for a great Saturday show here. Good day of college football. I'm your host, Kelsey, here. Alongside me to the left of me is Richie. We got Bugsy back at home base. What's going on today, guys?
Ready for some football.
Ready for some football. Bugsy, how you doing over there? Offended?
Whoa. You said you guys. That was one. One guy was being mean to you.
And his name was Richie.
Not accurate.
Accomplice.
Wow, I was actually being nice. Nobody listening to the radio right now believes that.
Okay, we're getting off rails here already.
Were we supposed to start all the rails?
We were not.
Okay.
You want to guys get
off the bench?
Let's get back. Let's go on the bench instead of off the bench.
Yeah.
Let's get to it. You can listen to the show today, guys. You can go check it out on YouTube. If you're in the car, of course, stick to the radio side, or you can go over to the iHeartRadio side. If you're walking around, still want to get your football fix, you can tune in at iHeartRadio. You can find us at 7:30 a.m. JOX Huntsville on there. If you want to get some video involved in the show, check out what's coming on and going on inside the studio. You can do so at Off the Bench College Football Show on YouTube. We're just ready to have a fun day today. You can get involved at Facebook. Also, give us a follow there. You can do so at Off the Bench and give us a follow and like on YouTube as well. Really appreciates us. It doesn't cost any money, and it's a grand old time just to hang out and just have a fun time on Saturday morning. So we got some critical games today that are going to define the season as we're sitting here on game day watching the goalposts being taken down to the river last year after the Vandy, Alabama game. In a heartbreaking fashion, Bama lost that game, and the revenge game is tonight in Tuscaloosa. I'm nervous for this one. Even coming off a really, really good win against Georgia last week on how Alabama performed in that game, lacking a running game and still getting it going, Alabama just seems to – this is just a weird spot and a weird feeling for this game in Tuscaloosa today.
Absolutely. As Nick Saban said earlier today, revenge should not be a factor, but today it is. With taking the goalpost and walking it down Broadway, not our finest day in Nashville last year. But like you said, we're coming in last year, win over Georgia, big win. Everybody's hyped up. We're, a Heisman Trophy at quarterback. We've got the next greatest wide receiver in the history of college football. And then we stroll into Vandy, and, nobody had that game circled. Nobody thought anything about that game. And apparently Vandy had it circled.
It's circled this year. I think it's been circled since the start of the year this year. And you talk about all the success we saw moving into that game last year, but there was one critical issue now. Ryan Williams has had a severe drop-off since that game last year.
Mm-hmm.
Coming into that game, Ryan Williams was off his infamous catch that essentially made the 17-year-old famous. Once he hit that 18-year-old mark, he seemed to struggle a bit. Once he started as that elite child, in a way, has moved down to this subpar adult playing football. And I'm being very harshly critical there. Very harshly critical there. I think I'm using lack of words that I can certainly think of at the moment. But we've really gotten that subpar play this year from Ryan Williams. He tried to get it back up this year. Him being in the slot, I don't think is the best possible answer to try to get production out of him. I think that's been a very poor part in the game the last couple of weeks. But other guys have stepped up. Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Horton, both guys have really stepped up. We've seen Latsir Brooks, the freshman wide receiver, jump in there. He's 18, not 17. He's jumped in there and really put a mark last week on Georgia. He had some critical plays in that ballgame from first down receptions and things like that. So this Alabama offense is still getting going, and I'm liking what I've seen the last couple of weeks since the Florida State loss with just the absolute tear that Ty Simpson has been on in his first year starting after being on the bench for multiple years. He seemed to got things going. Second in the Heisman race right now in terms of odds to win the Heisman Trophy. And then other guys just stepping up on offense, even though running game is still pretty far down there. Right now, we haven't seemed to getting it going. Even with Jan Miller back, he had some good runs last week, but nothing far to the advantage of he's really excelling at yards per carry or anything like that. And even with an expanded production role, we just really haven't seen where the running backs can seem to get things going. But the receiving corps stepped up. The offensive coordinators and the whole offensive coaching staff has really done a number on keeping this offense successful. It's really an anomaly that Alabama can't run the ball, yet the offense is still so good. We can walk in to a Sanford Stadium, a packed out Sanford Stadium, and get the win and break the win streak.
I 100% agree with the vast majority of what you just said. Part of what I think is going on with the run game and with the 18-year-old, formerly 17-year-old stud wide receiver is it possible that putting him in the slot, and yes, he had a drop that he should have just caught. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. He straight up dropped. But is because some of the eyes of the defense are having to focus on him, his ability to take the top off of a stadium at any moment, is that what's freeing up Bernard and these tight ends that have magically came out of nowhere, it seems like. And the fact that we don't have a run game is almost to the extent that we don't need, other than the Florida State game, probably could have used one. We haven't needed a run game to put up points, to run the clock, to get first downs, to continue the play going. So with Jam being back, I think they're going to slow walk him. I think he's going to be all right. But as far as this team, the defense is what I think is the biggest difference since week one. There was some just poor tackling, not running, lollygagging, if you would, on the field at Florida State.
Bray Hubbard, for example, Alabama's plays the wolf role, I think, right? Yeah. Bray Hubbard. He's stepped it up last couple of weeks. I really like the reception we've seen. He really owned his mistakes after that Florida State game, and he's been everywhere on the field. I mean, in the Wisconsin game, he had, I think, a sack, and then back-to-back, he had an interception with that sack.
Yes.
So we've really seen the critical turnaround. So let's flip it. Let's go talk about Vanderbilt for a second in this first segment. John Paul, we saw the comment coming in. What's up, brother? Happy for you to be here. Keep engaging with us in the show. If you want to text in, you can do so. Just do it on YouTube as well. We'll see the comment pop up here, and we'll respond to you live. So you can do it on YouTube now, and you can do it at Facebook at Off the Bench. Okay, so Vanderbilt on the other side, from what we've seen from them this year, it's a very different team than last year in specifically a positive way. Vanderbilt was good last year. They're even better this year. Ranked team. This is the first time since I think the 30s that this has been a ranked-on-ranked matchup. It's been a long time since we've seen that. Vanderbilt last year beat Bama for the first time in 40 years. So this is a big, heavy-weighing matchup that, Vanderbilt has had these rights for this last year of this hanging victory over your head. And it's been very loud for, an Alabama fan or just anyone around the country watching from afar. They've seen how much this Vanderbilt win has meant to them and their program. Mm-hmm. Clark Leah has really put into an emphasis in the offseason of big offensive linemen, and Vanderbilt has some this year. This is the biggest offensive line I've seen in my lifetime that I think anybody's really ever seen for Vanderbilt. And Diego Pavia has really excelled with that. He was carrying this team last year. He's leading this team this year. Biggest difference on this game. The question that I will have around with Tim Keenan back, we saw his impact last week against Georgia, and it was positive. I think he made some pretty good plays in that game and really bolstered against the run. Now, Georgia still got loose with the run, okay? I think Keenan helped that a lot. The difference this week is we're going to have that inside presence, what we didn't have at Florida State with Tim Keenan, that big boy in the middle that can stop that. James Smith got a targeting in that game last week. We're going to be without that defensive backfield for the first half. So a little bit of a hole to fill there that I think maybe we can keep this in check when Pavia tries to take off through the middle, their little option set, and maybe get this stopped this time. Maybe we see a different style of game that we saw on defense against Florida State. That's our best comparison so far with the quarterbacks right there with Castellanos and Pavia. Could we see something different? I think there's a possibility.
I'd like to make him beat us over the top. I think our DBs are good enough on the defense to play one-on-one. You're going to give up some points in this game. The Sunday I woke up and thought, as it became Vanderbilt week and the revenge, as we said earlier, that as great as we felt at whatever 6:30 or 9:30 Saturday night after a win at Georgia with 0 points in the second half, is do not rest on that same feeling this afternoon at 6-something o'clock when that game's over. I mean, this could be a high-scoring shootout, or if this is the Bama team that we think it's supposed to be, this could be a first-half, runaway. I lean towards I think it's going to be a shootout. I think the defense is going to give up some points today, but the offense is going to stand in there with them. And I would love to see us just pile in the box, put all 11 guys in the box and tell them good luck.
Well, you made a point about the high-scoring game that this possibly could be, maybe a shootout, if you will. Both of these teams are very good on third downs. Alabama showed that last week against Georgia. They both rank in the top of the SEC on third downs. Eli Stowers, tight end for Vanderbilt, he shows a lot of reliability on that third down set. They're going to look for him a lot on third down. Alabama has to clamp that down with their linebackers and whoever they can put on that tight end to stop this. It's what I worry about in this game. Can Bama actually get these turnovers that they need against Pavia? I think this is something that Alabama really lacked last year in this Vanderbilt game, is they couldn't really get the turnover that's been happening. Alabama hadn't turned the ball over this whole year, which has been a huge shocker so far. Even for the games that we've played and how poorly we played against Florida State, there was still not a turnover there. The strength in the game against Georgia, one of the biggest reasons. Georgia had that turnover.
Yes.
We did not. So if they can get things going with the turnover battle, if Bama can put that pressure on Pavia to make him make mistakes, you could see a very cautious Diego Pavia out there. Okay, make this stadium loud. Okay, game day is showed out this morning. They accepted the Saban challenge.
Absolutely,
and so we should rather see a lot of sound in that stadium tonight. And today, I'm hoping that is the case. Be able to swing that leverage and get that thing going. Big plays, explosive plays. Vanderbilt had a lot last year against Alabama.
Yes.
And it was really with Pavia's legs.
They've had a lot this year.
They have had a lot this year. Alabama hasn't felt like the explosive plays have been there throughout the year. Of course, not having a running game doesn't help, because not having that consistent run doesn't really help set up that pass. We've seen where there could have been ones this year. They've been drops, a lot of them with Ryan Williams, right? So is there the possibility that Alabama can get this going, maybe with some explosive plays to try to break that apart?
I agree with that. I think going back to what you were saying there, I think the biggest point of this game is going to be third downs. And for our Auburn fans out there, they may need to Google what a third down looks like, because they completely forgot it last week. We'll get into that later in the show, I'm sure. But I think continuing 17-42 time of possession last year.
Mm-hmm.
So third down becomes a huge point in letting your defense get a break, get some Gatorade in them, and being able to continue drives that maybe we don't have to have explosive plays. Maybe 3, 4, 7 yards every play is enough every time to roll down the field, score a touchdown, move back on the defense. So third down to me is even more critical than just the explosive plays.
7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM, JOX Huntsville. You're listening to Off the Bench. We're having a fun Saturday morning show here, getting ready for some pretty stacked ball games. Florida and Texas today, Alabama, Vanderbilt, and there's so many more good ball games on today. John Paul hitting us up on YouTube. How is Vanderbilt only ranked 16th when they're 5-0 and they have dominated some pretty good games? And how can they be 10.5-point underdogs. Look, I mean, that underdog stake right there, it's been going up and down it's really been going down throughout the week. You had it start off at 12, I think, at the beginning of the week, and then you went back down. You've been climbing back down. I think it's up 0.5 point since yesterday. Yes. It was at 9.5 yesterday. It's one, that's home field advantage. Two, it's the showing against Georgia last week, and it really showed Alabama's offense of what they're really capable of, and really showing a strong opponent. And to the point of the ranking on the AP poll is not it's not up to snuff. The AP poll is not up to snuff. Vanderbilt should be way higher.
That goes back to what we've talked about almost every week so far this year is the AP poll and what it's done. If that golden V and black logo was a burnt orange Longhorn, this team would be number 3 in the country right now with their current resume.
It's when the AP voters start watching, Western Kentucky and a MAC opponent at night, okay, at 11:30 at night, okay, and when they start watching those games, maybe we'll get some accurate rankings. I think
which is not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. 7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM. This is Off the Bench. We're going to take a quick break. John Paul, we'll get to that comment right here on the other side here. But we're just having a fun time this Saturday morning. You can tune in on YouTube, iHeartRadio, or stick with us on the radio. We'll be right back. Dad, are you able to pull that comment up on the Wildbirds other side? What's up, Bugsy? Yes. Yeah. No. Oh. Yes. 7:30 a.m., 1039 FM, JOX Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. I'm your host, Kels and Pops over here. Sitting over to my left is Richie. Across from me, we got Pops handling all of the media situation right now. We're trying to get that under control. I think he's a little confused over there trying to figure it out. It's okay. Slow process moving here. We are still, I think audio is still coming through. We just lost the video for a second. It'll be back here in just one moment. It's a crisp fall morning air this morning. I like it.
It's starting to actually feel.
It is. It's starting to feel. I'm not sweating.
I was actually, unfortunately, with some technical issues last week. That was one thing I was going to say is, you started week 0 saying that this feels like the beginning of the holiday season.
Yeah.
And I felt like last Saturday, the air was a little bit crisper.
A little bit crisper.
Little bit of chill first thing in the morning.
We had the fire going. We were up in Kentucky last week and seeing family, watching all the games, and which had nothing to do with the show not going on. That was internal issues at the stations with our computer department over there. And so we had the fire going, and it was crisp. It was beautiful. Just watching the Bama game, and we were kind of, we were outside running around. I mean, this is the type of game where I could not sit down in this Georgia game.
It means something, so therefore I cannot be still.
Yes, it did mean something. It meant a lot, and it was fun. All right, we're still waiting on getting video back here on the YouTube side, which is fine. It's going to be back eventually. Don't tune out. It's going to be there. At least we still got audio with you, and we're bringing the show to you right here. So a little more, a couple things to touch on here in this Alabama-Vanderbilt game. In terms of points per game and statistic stuff like that, 38 points per game for Alabama. We're ranking 43rd nationally. Vanderbilt, 49 points per game, and is among one of the top offenses in the SEC. Defensively, Alabama's allowing 16.5 points per game. Vanderbilt on the other side, 17 points per game. Alabama has not given the ball over at all this season, and Vanderbilt has allowed 4 turnovers. They have forced 9, though. So they're still on the positives there, though.
Hey, what's the best offense Vanderbilt has faced this season? I'll wait. I can tell you this.
South Carolina?
Number 75.
Ooh.
The 75th best offense in the country is what they've gone up against this year.
And who was that game?
That was South Carolina.
And South Carolina has had their struggles this year.
Yes.
And seemingly trying to get back on track. But this is a game where I think the key to this is Alabama's defense got to step up, and you want to try to have a different outcome. I know you were saying that ESPN had the ranking, or excuse me, had the odds back on this game at 12, right?
Yeah. Last I saw, so it's 12.5.
12.5. So this is
well.
It's bumping back up. Maybe that's from the fan reception we've seen in this game, starting to cook up just a couple of hours here from kickoff. I think the game's a 2:30 kick here.
Yes, sir.
And I wish this was a night game. Didn't get flexed.
Yeah, no.
It was disappointing to see it not get flexed.
I'm fine with it being a day game or, late afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's historically, the SEC's always put one of their biggest games on that 2:30 slot. I think this is fitting of that.
Fitting.
I will also say that not only is Vanderbilt best offense they faced 75th in the country, is the stat I saw earlier this week. Alabama's defense has held every opponent so far this year to their lowest total all season. Not just like, Florida State the first game, what Florida State's done since then, what Wisconsin has done since then, what Georgia has done all season. So it's, stats are stats, numbers don't lie. People do. But I think when you're looking at the difference in the opponents, I mean, like you said, Vandy's best game so far is South Carolina. Would you call that anybody's best game so far this season?
Maybe last year with the success they saw. But this year, it hasn't been the upright success, I think, and it hasn't been the overall what we saw last year and how good that South Carolina team was. And Lenore Sellers is still kind of a shell of himself of how he performed last year. But there's one thing that we forget about Boomer.
And what's that?
Is that when it is Gamecocktober, it is a different feeling in South Carolina. And it's exciting. We can't wait for it. It's a different kind of game. One thing I got to ask on the programming side real quick. I know we're about to hit a heartbreak. Have we passed that heartbreak or has it been taken out? It's there. Okay. I guess it is there. 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, JOX Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. Having some struggles on the YouTube side. We're going to get that all fixed up and get that back to you in just 1 second. You can still listen in on YouTube, or you can go over to 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, JOX Huntsville on the radio side and on iHeartRadio. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Your camera on in there at all?
Ooh.
7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, JOX Huntsville. This is Off the Bench with this crisp fall morning air out here live in the Angel Share Garage Bar. We've got a one heck of a day of football coming up here, and it's going to be exciting to have John Paul hitting us up on YouTube. You can hit us up on the socials too. You can hit us up at Facebook at Off the Bench, and you can hit us up on YouTube as well at Off the Bench College Football Show, where you can watch us live. And it's fun. I think it's actually Off the Bench CFB show, to be specific, to help you out there. John Paul said, if Vanderbilt does not turn it over a few times, I think Alabama will win this game. But without Vanderbilt turning it over, I just don't think they can win. I think there does have to be some turnover battle in this, but I don't know if I can sit here and say that Vanderbilt is so strong that they have to have a game with no turnovers to beat Alabama. And if they do turn that ball over, then Alabama is going to take it over. I don't know if you can sit there and specifically say, hey, that's the stat mark that's going to take this game.
I think it flows into that, but I think the time of possession is going to be more, because I think that takes into account the turnover battle. It takes over the third down. It takes over the defense. Is if it's a 17-42 like it was last season, yeah, Vandy has all the right in the world to roll into Bryant-Denny Stadium and roll out with a W. But if the defense can hold on a few third downs, if the offense can pick up a few third downs, and you've got something closer to a 45-25, even a 30-30 split on the time of possession, I think that's your key to success right there.
Right. Listen, Ray hitting us up. Ray Flores hitting us up on YouTube. Morning.
Good morning.
It is a good morning. It's a good day to watch college football. So we're about to switch the topic up over on here.
Speaking of Ray.
He sees you, by the way, is what he says. I don't know where he's at. He can see us somehow. Oh, maybe because the camera on our face.
That's going to be it.
I think that could be it. All right, so we're getting ready to switch topics up here, switch to a different game. Florida and Texas. A game that at one point this year we thought was going to be the game of the year, but a lot of things have changed since that is said, since really early September when that was being said. And now we're on a whole different world. I forgot the word for it. Different universe in terms of ways. Multiverse is taking effect here. Going into this game, Texas's first SEC game of the year on the road in Gainesville, where Florida has struggled entering this year and is under a lot of pressure with Billy Napier, and a game where we could see Billy Napier out of a job after this game.
Florida has struggled in Gainesville, out of Gainesville, near Gainesville.
Well, when you throw a season's worth of picks in one game, DJ Lagway, it poses an issue, and you can't have any sustained success from that.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's any way to go with that. Longhorns are 7.5-point favorite in this game, as they bring more consistency to it. We haven't seen straight up consistency from them from what we thought we were going to see this year. And that Ohio State game start the year really showed kind of the boys we were going to get from Texas. And while they weren't great in that game, they weren't good. They were okay. And Arch has kind of struggled trying to get things back on the mark this year, which he has. He's just still not the player that we expected, sort of like John Mateer over at Oklahoma. Definitely not. Note on John Mateer, he's still out. He's got that hand injury. He'll be out for a couple of weeks, which effectively took him out of the Heisman race. Arch was supposed to be an Heisman quarterback, but he has not played to that shape to this point.
Well, let me tell you an update.
Mm-hmm.
I've got it at current at 5.5.
Ooh, 5.5. So it's moved even further down. So they're liking Florida a little bit more.
Somebody is.
Well, that leaves a little bit of a mark to handle. So we're sitting at probably about a 2.5 with the home field advantage, with 3 points being the home field advantage. So this could be a more of an even game than we think. With this game, I think a key to this game is the quarterbacks and how they're going to play. Are we going to get a Lagway that's going to step up like he did last year in the Texas game? Mm-hmm. He stepped up last year. And we just haven't seen that to this point this year. Maybe he needs to wake up to playing in the SEC play to say, okay, well, we can't consistently do this anymore. Or maybe it's more of a mental thing and Billy Napier and him aren't clicking.
I think you're 100% right. I think today is going to be one of these two quarterbacks has to finally step up and take the reins. Yeah, great job against Sam Houston State. But as far as Archie and DJ, one of them is going to have to step up today and say, yeah, I am still that guy or going to be that guy for the rest of the season. I've got I wrote when I was looking at this game, the first thing that came to mind was first to 21 wins. I think both teams have a great defense. Both offenses have absolutely struggle bust to this point of the season. Texas has had more of an easier schedule, it looks like, than Florida has, but neither one of them have played great. It's at the Swamp, which is never a fun place to play.
It's not.
And Texas is kind of maybe looking towards next week.
Well, I mean, if you want to point an emphasis towards, how do we wake up this Florida team? And how do we wake up the Florida fans? Florida's loud when they're good. Florida fans inside the Swamp are even louder when they've got something to play for.
Absolutely.
Okay? So this game is kind of a mental strength bounce back kind of moment here. Florida needs this confidence builder. Billy Napier needs this game specifically to keep his job moving toward the future. He may not get fired this game. He may not get fired next game. But if he continues this downward stretch, he'll be fired at the end of the season where they don't have to pay as much money, right? So at the same time, though, Texas needs to establish its dominance within the SEC. A team that was picked to be in the SEC championship hasn't looked that way this entire season. So Texas needs to come out here swinging. Okay, they put pressure on Lagway early, force these quick decision passes, which will disrupt Lagway completely. They do that early, this game will be shut out quick.
I concur 100%. Texas I think if this game is close, if we get down to the fourth quarter and this game is close, Florida has all the opportunity in the world to win this. Florida also has all the opportunity in the world to lose this game before they even get off the bus. If Napier has lost the locker room, if Lagway's not the guy, or there's some sort of disconnect between him and Napier, I mean, it could be both at this point. Looking and seeing what we've seen so far this season, if Florida could lose this game before they even walk onto the field, but we could get a muddy, dirty, ugly game that Florida just hangs around like a hair in a biscuit, and at the end has an opportunity to pull out a W that, frankly, I don't think anybody believes they have. But we were just talking about the spread. At some point in time, those folks in Vegas built those casinos big and bright and shiny, not by giving away money. So somebody knows something that I don't know, because on paper, it looks like Texas should run away with this. But here we are at 5.5. It's at Florida. Crazier thing, what I heard, like week 6 last year was how many top 25 teams lost to unranked teams on the road, and so this was the crazy week last year when all that happened. So do we get another crazy week? Or are we finally in what you call it? It's Spooktober, but you called it something different with South Carolina.
Gamecocktober.
Yeah.
You can say that on the radio. It's fine, I think.
Yeah, you're the host. I'm allowing you to say it. So
I said it last year. Nobody said a word to me.
If you get in trouble, it's your fault. Not
I get in trouble. I get in trouble for it. It's a proper noun. You can say proper nouns.
Okay, gotcha.
Specifically, I think it's definitely different to say them, right? So Florida, I brought up the statistic yesterday when I was doing a radio hit, but Jaden Ball, starting running back for Florida, averaging 5.9 yards a carry. The biggest issue with Ball, they only give him the ball 10, 12 times a game.
Yeah.
Okay? Florida has not capitalized on the running attack. Florida, you need to come out in this game, put a heavy emphasis on running the ball. Okay? What's the old hat say? Run the damn ball.
Absolutely.
That's it right there, okay? So Florida come out this game with a heavy running emphasis, okay? Set the pass up with the run, okay? This is simple football. This is back to basics. Billy Napier has not gone back to basics this year. Run the ball, set up the pass. That's how you stay in this game. And it's an issue when you're saying stay in the game in your home stadium, okay? That should never be a mark for Florida. This is an issue we're seeing with Florida. Billy Napier has lost his team. He's got to get it back. He's got to get this back on the reins by the end of the season.
Did he forget how to coach?
It seems like it. I mean, so last year we saw him essentially almost get fired. The only reason he didn't get fired was because Florida didn't have they didn't have an AD. Florida was without an AD last year. Okay, so the interim guy, who I think was the acting president of Florida right now. So the president of Florida, who's acting as the interim DM, right? He goes, well, I don't want to do a coaching search without a AD. That's just not in good possibility, probably not good business, right? So he was like, Billy, we'll give you to the rest of the season, okay? And then we'll assess it at that point. After that, he was fine.
Yeah.
No issues. After that, he did great. The offense stepped up. DJ Lagway looked like he was gunning for a Heisman opportunity.
That being said, if you don't pull off the at-home, underdog story today, there aren't a whole lot of W's left on Florida's schedule. And by a whole lot, I mean there may not be any. I just pulled it up. You've got Texas at home. You go to A&M. That's not going to be an easy game at all. You get the cocktail party at Kentucky. I mean that could be that could be the first or not the first, the next head coach fired bowl right there. Then you're at Ole Miss, home for Tennessee, and then home for Florida State. Where are the W's? And if you know there's that many losses on the schedule, at what point in time, as the AD, as the president, do you go, hey, it's been fun, we appreciate it, here's your 19.4, have a nice day?
Well, that's the point where you want to make that marker 14.5 instead of 19.4.
Yeah.
And that's why you're waiting so long to let Billy go. Plus, I don't even know who would be the acting interim right now. I know there was an obvious choice at Arkansas with Pittman was fired because you had Petrino at the OC, right?
Yes.
Former coach of Arkansas. And I think as an interim, you have to have former head coach experience. And that's some weird rule. I don't know. I've heard that before.
I'm not sure if that's the case or not. That seems to make no sense to me because
doesn't either. I thought you could just choose who you want.
I'm pretty sure if the University of Alabama wanted me to be the interim head coach, I would do a terrible job, but I would accept it.
Yeah.
I saw what that paycheck looks like. And so, yeah.
Ray hitting us up again. Definitely Florida would have more time of possession and keep the ball away from the Texas offense to establish a rhythm. Yeah, I think that's a big key in this game.
Absolutely.
Florida needs to get that
run the ball.
7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM. JOX Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. John Paul, just hold on 1 second. We get your comment right on the other side. Leave some time on the other side to talk about these awesome college football games that are happening today. You can listen in on iHeartRadio. You can listen in on YouTube. Give us a like, subscribe if you're willing. We'd really appreciate it. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. All it does is help us out. We're going to take a quick break here, and we'll be right back.
down just a little bit. Can you turn my headset down just a little bit?
7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM, JOX Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. I'm your host, Kels and Pops over here. Richie sitting over here to my left. Pops across from me. Bugsy still at the studio. How you doing? Game Jockstober. I think we could roll with that.
It's a little bit of a stretch.
Jockstober. It's Jockstober.
Jockstober.
Jockstober over here on the radio. I think we just got our new branding. It's Jockstober. On and off the bench. I like it. I'm here for it. If you're listening on the YouTube side, remember we are shutting the stream down at 10. Go find us on iHeartRadio. Go find us on the radio, 103.9 FM, and of course 7:30 a.m. JOX Huntsville. John Paul hitting us up on YouTube. You can hit us up on the socials as well. You can hit us up on Facebook at Off the Bench and on YouTube at Off the Bench CFB Show. Florida is terrible, so this is an easy game for Texas. That's one way to see it. Yes, I think there's a possibility that turns out today. We could see a very, very underwhelming game from Florida.
I believe that's why I said they could lose it before they even get off the bus.
Yes, they very well could. And I think we're all waiting to see the new replacement in Florida. As I believe it is going to be one of the prettiest job in the coaching carousel coming around this winter.
I would love to get into the upcoming open coaching positions in the SEC because I think me and you drastically disagree on one of them.
Well, we have Arkansas. We have Florida. Mm-hmm. Who else are we rolling with?
I think Auburn goes.
You think Hugh's going to get fired?
I think Auburn at best goes 6-6, and they fire Hugh at the end of the season.
I mean, we didn't see a horrible game from A&M last week, and we got to remember how good of a team A&M is.
$16 million. The buyout, $16 million.
Would we make Hugh an even richer man?
Yellowwood would write that check and not even feel bad about it.
Does he then run for Congress too? Or excuse me, Senator?
No,
we're not getting too far into this.
I think there's too many already.
There's too many. Yeah. There's too many names in this already. We got some informants down in Athens, Georgia. We're trying to see if they would come and talk to us here for a minute, just to see how the game is feeling down there at the noon kickoff between Kentucky and Georgia. But seemingly still have an interesting day of college football ahead of us. We got an hour till kickoff. We're going to be rolling with you on the radio side until then. So until next time on YouTube, we'll talk to you later. For the radio side, 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, JOX Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. We'll be back on the other side.
Hit it.